What's going on, everyone? This is Talks with Kenny. Here today, we'll be reacting to Timcast IRL. FBI just raided Donald Trump's house with the great Larry Elder. Let's take a look.
Anyway, let's get into the news. I'm excited for tonight.
All right, here's the first story. Ladies and gentlemen, this is massive. From timcast.com, Donald Trump announces Mar-a-Lago was raided by the FBI. The DOJ is currently investigating January 6th and alleged efforts to overturn the 2022 election. I know.
Before they continue, I just want to let me know in the comment section, where do you think this investigation will lead? Do you think it will actually lead to any Donald Trump getting prosecuted, or they'll fail yet again in proving that any wrongdoing was done by Donald Trump? Let me know in the comment section below.
That timcast.com is officially NewsGuard certified, which is huge. It's good news, right? We'll talk about that later. But I also want to make sure we're just clear. The Hill is reporting definitively the FBI raids Trump's Mar-a-Lago. So while many outlets are saying Trump announces it's happened, there's at least the Hill saying it's definitive. I have another journalist who messaged me confirming through multiple sources, the FBI has raided Donald Trump's home. They say, or I should say, we say over at timcast.com. President Donald Trump announced the Federal Bureau of Investigation has raided his private real estate in Florida. Mar-a-Lago is, quote, currently under siege, raided and...
Do you guys think the FBI is a political weapon at this point? Because Hillary Clinton had 30,000 something emails in her server, and she was destroying essentially evidence, and the FBI was like, oh, there was no intent. She did it unknowingly. Last time I checked, ignorance of the law doesn't protect you from the law. So you guys think Trump will get the same courtesy? I don't think so. But I do think that this is political in nature, because you wait until the man leaves to go to New York and then you go raid his house. Some people have theories saying that maybe Donald Trump had dirt on them, and that's why they searched his house, raided his house to try to make sure that, oh, maybe he don't have any information that he could use against us. But all I see is they just made Donald Trump a political martyr. On my Twitter, I've been saying it for the longest. Donald Trump became the most vetted president in U.S. history. Like, they scrutinize every piece and part of this man's life to the point where he's he's the most transparent politician we ever had. That literally we go, oh, you can trust this guy. This guy's not corrupt. If he was corrupt, these dudes would have already found something. Come on, how many investigations did this guy go through? What, 5, 6? They just turned over his tax returns to Congress. What Congress needs tax returns from a former president? You see the abuse of power here. But God forbid, Rob DeSantis uses an inch of his legislative power to condemn a corporation from influencing his state's legislation, right? Food for thought.
Occupied by a large group of FBI agents, the former president said in a statement around 7 p.m. I mean, this is happening right when we're all excited. Larry's here. We're getting ready for the show. Lydia goes, the FBI is raiding Trump's house. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, this is going to be crazy. They say the purpose of the search was not immediately clear. Trump noted that agents executing a search warrant even broke into his safe. The DOJ has accelerated its investigation into the January 6th attack on the Capitol and further examined Trump's actions to overturn the 2020 election results to reign in power, according to the Hill. So, civil war? What?
I don't think so. I
don't believe a civil war is going to happen just yet. I do think that a lot of states will try to succeed from the nation, from the federal government, and try to act as nation states. I think that will happen. The national divorce was trending on Twitter. Banana Republic was trending on Twitter. Gestapo was trending on Twitter. A lot of people, I believe, is waking up. Like, they're saying this abuse of power. They're like, oh, rules for thee, but not for me, type of thing. Like Hillary Clinton flexing on Twitter, flexing on Trump, saying, what about her emails hacked? She campaigning on that. Like, really? Like, how tone deaf can she be? But hey, this is the same lady that was like, I got hot sauce in my purse. Same lady. She think like Americans are like, you guys are peons, and she's a noble in a monarchy, that she's above the law. It seems like the only time you could be above the law if you're a Democrat. And that's why these Democrats vote for these people, because they think they're in the same stature as them because they're Democrats. Oh, the rules don't apply to Democrats, so I'm gonna vote for my guy. And if your opposition does the same thing your person does, it doesn't care about logical consistency. You condemn that person, but we turn around and say, hey, but this person did the exact same thing, if not worse, you go, oh, no, that was for a reason. That was a mistake. But on this side, no, he meant to do that. Come on. It's tribal politics. And that's one thing I hate is inconsistency. You do for one, you do for all.
I think that this has been planned for 100 years. I'm not talking about the raid on Trump. I'm talking about technocracy and the military. The military part of it came in the 40s and 50s with the opportunity after World War II to establish global dominance. But like the Federal Reserve, they really want to control the environment. This is just another stepping stone as far as I'm concerned.
I think it's a very scary development. I thought at first people who said if Donald Trump gets indicted or if he gets prosecuted for alleged insurrection, we would be having some sort of violence in the streets. I no longer feel this hyperbole. This is very scary. For the entirety of Trump.
Especially that the Senate passed bills that IRS agents, they're putting more funding into hiring more IRS agents, 87,000 of them. You don't need that much agents to audit the rich. You're doing it to nick and pick the poor. Oh, you forgot to pay this tax bill. Oh, we noticed you sent $600 in Venmo. I think you need to get taxed on that, right? That's the only way you need all those bodies for. When Democrats are in the power, one thing they're not scared of doing, they're not scared of wielding power. They just don't like when the other side decides to wield power as well. That's why they so threatened by Ron DeSantis, Trump in a way as well, because Trump wasn't scared to just put his agenda out there, say, hey, this is my agenda, this is what we're doing, and he was fighting for his agenda, and that's what the Republicans need. If one thing they didn't learn from Trump is you guys got to fight for something. You just can't be against, we're just against the Democrats. If you're playing from a defensive position, if the person keep going, once you slip, you give them an inch, you take a mile. This is the Democrats' playbook. We start with, we just want this legislation, then it snowballs into something else. This is where the slippery slope happens. And you see what happened to our society now. Oh, if you take God out of the schools, nothing will happen. And then you see the moral decay in our society, where now we're trying to justify why we should chemically castrate young children at the age of 7 because he decided he wanted to be a she.
Trump's presidency, Hillary referred to the election of 2016 as having been stolen. She called Donald Trump illegitimate, to the point where 67% of Democrats, according to a YouGov poll, believe that the Russians changed vote tallies in 2016.
When Democrats do something or say something, oh, it's legitimate. Oh, that's a nuanced take. We haven't looked at it this way. Flip it. Republicans say the exact same thing. All conspiracy theories, illegitimate, right? They pick and choose based on your status of who has a legitimate opinion and say in certain matters and who don't, right? And it's the same thing I'll say with racism. That's why I say, look, Democrat parties don't change their stripes; they just change how they go about things. Or you're black, you don't deserve to vote. You don't deserve to have free will. You don't deserve to have rights. Oh, you're white. Oh, you deserve to have rights. It's the same playbook. Now they know. Oh, we can't do it on race anymore. Let's do it on politics now. Oh, you're right. Oh, you're a Republican. Oh yeah. Let me dehumanize you. Let me see you as as an other. They dehumanize a certain group of people as an other, and they can that way they can justify doing anything to them. And that's what happened to Donald Trump. You ban him off social media. You're raiding his house, and on Twitter you have half of the people, 50% of Americans, happy, finding any justification for it just because emotionally they don't like a guy. Just because they don't like a guy, they'll justify anything happening to him. When his first wife passed away, Donald Trump's first wife passed away, they were trying to wrong Trump, wishing death on this man just because they don't like them. You know a person by when you tell them no or you do something they don't like, that's when you really know a person, because they'll show you who they really are in that moment. And the left showing who they really are. I don't want to be associated with people like that you wish harm on somebody just because you disagree on their politics or you just don't like their personality. A Secretary of State can do something that a former president can't do. Have documents in their personal home. Wow.
To get Donald Trump elected. Jay Johnson, the Department of Homeland Security Secretary, testified under oath. The Russians tried, but they failed to change a single vote tally in 2016. Yet a supermajority of Democrats believe that they did. 78% of Democrats believe the Russian interference changed the outcome of the election. And Jay Johnson testified, we don't know. We'd have to have a world where there was interference and one where there wasn't and compare the two. Since we can't do that, we just don't know. But 78% of Democrats, according to a Gallup poll, believe the Russian interference changed the outcome of the election. In other words, a greater percentage of Democrats believe 2016 was stolen. The Republicans feel the same thing about 2020.
What's the difference? We're all human, right? We're all equal, right? But no, oh, you're a Republican. Oh, that's a secure election. Democrats question the election. Democrats always question the election. When Bush won, I remember I was a kid hearing how when Al Gore lost by a couple votes, whatever. But then when Republicans come with the same energy, all of a sudden they want to demonize the action and take on this fake moral high ground. When just a couple years ago, all you got to do is go back. When Democrats are chastising something, all you got to do is go back and see if they did it. And you realize, oh, they did do it. When they didn't have the filibuster on 2008, when they used the filibuster to say, hey, you have to, minorities' opinion matters. And this is why we need to keep the filibuster so the Republicans don't destroy the filibuster. Now in 2020, now they have the majority advantage. They trying to justify removing the filibuster.
Hillary joined a lawsuit, Jill Stein, to overturn the Wisconsin election and filed a separate motion to have the recount done by hand. Nobody calls her a purveyor of the big lie. Her social media platforms have not been shut down, even though she said, as I said, for 4 years, Donald Trump is an illegitimately elected president. It's a double standard that slaps you in the face. Hillary skated when she clearly violated the Espionage Act. She had a private server in her basement. She got and received secured information, classified information, lied about it, and skated. And
she lied about it. Come on, people. Like, come on. The Democrats pissing on your leg and say, hey, it's raining. This is why they love to say the experts, the science. They love to flex authority over you. If you question them, just say, hey, I'm the authority here. I have this degree here. Don't trust your eyes. I'm the expert. Listen to what I tell you.
The law does not require any intent. But James Comey did this big presentation. At the end of it, he said, but she lacked the intent. The statute does not require intent. She skated. This is a double standard and it's outrageous.
No accountability. No accountability. The Democrats are the unaccountable party. And the people that vote for them, they don't care how they do about it. They just care about, hey, you got the agenda done? Okay. And then they wonder why people are so fearful of letting go of their guns. Because imagine a government like this when there's no threat of the people rising up against them. They'll just authoritarian, boom, in. But you like to call, like, this is the gaslighting the Democrats play in. They'll quote the Republicans as authoritarians when they're really the authoritarians. It's projection. When Democrats do something, oh, it's both sides. It's not like it's either both our fault or just your fault. That's the Democrat playbook. Gaslighting 101 right there. Look what the politicians doing in your face. And no one cares because, oh, they're doing it to a guy I don't like. Justified. But the minute it happens to you, that's when you want, oh, everyone look. But then no one's going to care because they're going to be like, when it happened the first time, it happened to someone you don't like. You justified it. Now it's happening to you. You want us to defend you? You want us to call it out? Nah, man. You can't expect other people to treat you better than you treat them. It's asinine. It's dumb. You want to equal, win-win. That's it. That's all we can expect from each other. Let's continue.
Outrageous, and there might very well be violence in the streets now because of this.
There's a couple ways I think we can look at it depending on how you want to give the benefit of the doubt to Democrats. Donald Trump was very passively looking into the Ukraine dealings of the Biden family. For doing such, he was accused of trying to dig up dirt on his political rival just before the upcoming election, even though Joe Biden had not announced nor even hinted that he would be running for president.
I don't know. I forget where Joe Biden was vice president when he went to Ukraine. But all Trump did was look into it and say, hey, he's not allowed to do this. He's just the vice president. And boom, the bureaucrats. You see how fast they went on him to impeach him. Another failed impeachment. Only Democrats are the only party I know that can fail and continue getting rewarded with power. Because they're not incentivized to change if their voters keep rewarding them for doing this stuff. And maybe because I told you, Democrats are good at emotional messaging. Their voter base, in my opinion, are more emotional. So all you have to do is appeal to their emotions. You can justify anything. A tyrant can justify anything to you. Oh, it's for the greater good. I have to do this. It's for the greater good of the country. And then, okay, all you have to do is put some soft, good intention story behind it. No, we do for some tough love, man. We need to be like, America needs to wake up. We need to wake up. We can't keep playing this political football with these people because these people, they crossed the line before. They did something unprecedented. If they do that to a former president, what chance we got? They got IRS agents ready for us next year. We better not be sending any more no money over Venmo, PayPal, nothing. Zelle.
President. I mean, this is like a year and a half before he made his announcement at all. They impeached Donald Trump for this.
Right.
We do have evidence of potential malfeasance. I should say Joe Biden did a quid pro quo with the president of Ukraine, fire the prosecutor, or you're not getting the $1 billion loan guarantee. And they said, well, it was in line with foreign policy. That's not the point. The vice president doesn't have the authority to make these threats.
Right.
As it happens, his son was on the board of Burisma. Burisma's founder was being investigated by that prosecutor who ended up getting fired because of Biden. Now, you could argue the Democrats are looking at that and genuinely believing that's what Trump was doing. And this is what we've seen from them.
They pry on the ignorance of their own voters, the Democratic Party, in my opinion. And then they get people more like me in the middle, right, who are not politically engaged. This is why they focus so much on Hollywood actors, cultural icons, and making sure that they're on their side, on their dole, like on their payroll, right? Have LeBron James push Hillary to all his people, right? Because people in the middle are not politically engaged enough to shift through the historics of the parties and the members that's associated with them or a specific candidate. And this is how they win, right? Their voters, the one that's diehard, the 33% of their voters that are diehard Democrats, they'll vote the blue no matter who, ignorant to what they're doing, right? All they care about is, oh, the media says good things about my candidate. I made the right choice, right? Appeal to their emotions, right? They don't want to think for themselves. They just they hug that responsibility to authority, right? And then you have the Republicans. They're trying to, look, they're not doing it. But Democrats won't listen to you because of you have an R next to your name. Dehumanization. But this is the cadence I think we're missing in politics now. That now is about slamming each other. You can't admit if you're wrong or misguided on an issue, or else you're gonna be called a grifter. It's craziness. There's no mutual foundation that the two parties share anymore. That's why I believe as we age up and millennials start taking throes of power in the government and stuff, we're going to be more split. This is why I agree with a national divorce happening, a secession happening. Civil war, after today, it looks more likely, but I still would think that a national divorce will happen first before a civil war happens. My opinion.
Repeatedly said you have to play the game the Republicans are playing. If they really believe that's what Trump did, then this is a tit for tat. Or we can operate under the assumption they're hypocrites and liars. They accused Trump falsely and then are now doing exactly what they claimed he was doing.
And of course, Hunter Biden and Joe Biden are getting a complete pass so far. Joe Biden has said repeatedly he knew nothing at all about his son's business dealings. They got the laptop. The laptop was dismissed as Russian disinformation by 51 so-called intelligence operatives right before the election. 16% of Biden voters believe that had they known about this story, they would not have voted for Biden.
Imagine. So that means that those 16%, if the media just told the story as it is, just gave you the information instead of telling you how to think about the information, Biden would have lost the election in 2020. Political games, people. This is why, now I'm in this think for self, do for self mode, this rugged individualism. Don't be very self-reliant to the point where if you get information, you have to know why you believe that information. It can't be, I got it from this source. I trust this source. This is why it is what it is. No, you have to verify for yourself. And can you verify it? If you can't verify it, try to see if you can see multiple sources. And you look at where they align. A lot of sources on this side agree with it, but they're Republicans. A lot of this source disagree with it because they're Democrats. Okay, what's in the middle? What's the truth? What is the commonality between those two things? And I can say, okay, this is objectively true. If not, because I read a Pew Research study that 73% of Americans can't agree on basic facts. So even that, we're losing that. So we're losing objectivity. Everything's biased. You must assume everything is biased at this point. My commentary is biased. Tim's commentary is biased. Larry Elder's commentary is biased. But you have to be able to verify where they got their information from, and if it's true. This is the point of this is science. This is why they push back so hard against the scientific method. You have to test your theories. And if you enact your theories in reality and it's wrong, your theory is wrong. It's not someone implemented it wrong. Your theory is just wrong.
And
Was it- how much?
and
6%, right?
16%.
16?
16%
I thought it was
of
like 10, yeah.
16% of Biden voters say had they known about the Hunter Biden laptop story, which was suppressed by Twitter, suppressed by Facebook, they would not have voted for Joe Biden. Clearly, the election then would have been in favor of Donald Trump. And Donald Trump's referred to as the big guy getting 10% on the laptop, and
Biden.
Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, complaining that his dad gets half of all.
You mean Hunter Biden?
Hunter Biden referred to his father as the big guy,
Right.
and the big guy gets 10%.
And they've done this again.
And if you watch CNN, you watch MSNB, what I call MSNB hee haw, it's like this story doesn't even exist. But on Sunday, even Brian Stelter of CNN, their media guy, even he said this is not just a right-wing story. It is something that's very serious and could jeopardize Biden's presidency.
Wow. Catch you guys on the next one. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.